What's going on, nation, and welcome to Ask Scott and Sean, episode 16. I'm Scott. You guys all know Sean Boom Seaberg. What's going on, Sean?
Not much.
Feeling good today?
I'm feeling pretty good. You know, one thing I think people should ask themselves before they comment, especially if they're going to leave negative comments, is, do I even lift, and is this real life? And I know people ask those questions a lot to us, but I'm just asking you the same question.
And if you're going to tell me that a burpee isn't a hard exercise, let me see a video of you doing it for 2 minutes long. Thank you very much.
Burpee, away.
I'm going to do some burpees right after we're done filming this. All right, and I have a special message for my brother Chris. You lost 5 times in a row yesterday at Super Smash Brothers, so cry about it. You get another chance next week. That's all I have to say about that. Now the world knows. You can't beat Link. I throw bombs and boomerangs non-stop. And when I throw the boomerang, I could miss, hit you with a bomb, and then as the boomerang comes back and hits you again, then I up B and shoot you off the screen. It's done deal.
That was very Forrest Gump of you, by the way.
Yes.
That's
Anyways.
all I have to say about that.
All right, guys, so we're at episode 16. We got 4 questions for you guys again today. If you'd like to ask a question, go to the ScottHermanFitness.com website and go to the members section. You don't have to be a join member to ask a question, but you can go right there and ask your question in the Scott and Sean section. So, 4 questions. First question is from Joshua Hernandez, and Joshua says, "Hey, Scott, you are so much cooler than Sean Boom Seaberg." He did say, "Hey, Scott. Hey, Scott, I'd really like you guys to talk a little bit about what's better to do in terms of gaining muscle mass, to run and then have a very intense leg workout, or to have a leg workout first and then run. In my case, I've been running first because I feel that it provides me a good warm-up to later be able to squat or leg press heavier. But on the other hand, I've also noticed that for doing that, pump of my legs is not as strong. Is this the right thing to do? Thank you." So the first thing we have to do is dissect this question and see, what is Joshua's goal? What's his goal, Sean?
He says he wants to gain muscle, right?
He wants to gain muscle. So
Stop running.
Yeah.
Stop running.
This is a very easy question to answer. If your goal is to gain muscle, first of all, you don't want to be burning all those extra calories from the running. Second of all, you should be focusing on the lifts. Like, do you even know what you're supposed to be doing for mass gain lift for your legs to begin with? Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, if you're going to be focusing on power, if you're going to be focusing on gaining muscle, you can put the endurance training on the back burner if you want. Like I said, if your primary focus is gaining muscle and gaining power. But if you like to do endurance, if you want to keep burning fat, you can do that as well. What I recommend personally is that you do it in a separate session other than your bodybuilding, powerlifting, strength training, whatever it is that you may be doing.
Yeah, sometimes what I like to do is I like to do 2 sessions. I like to go maybe sometimes in the morning and do a little bit of cardio and abdominals and then eat throughout the day and do my heavy lifting at night. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to gain mass, maybe you're running because you want to get a little bit of a warm-up. If you're trying to warm up your knees, you know, we talked about this, you can do like a stationary bike. What you're basically trying to do is just warm up the joint so that there's this stuff in the, I did some research on joints, which I'm pretty excited about.
Just do like 5 or 10 minutes if you're going to do warm-ups.
Yeah, you need to warm up your synovial fluid so your bones can glide over each other like this.
That's how they glide.
That's how they glide, because the articular cartilage just goes
Next
like
question.
It's cutting me off!
So basically, you know, stop all the running before and after and do it in a separate session if you really want to run, if you really want to burn fat, burn extra calories, whatever your purpose is in running, getting improved cardiovascular system. If you're focused on power, just focus on the power, focus on the lifts, the forms, and
maybe throw some dynamic stretching in there as well. So, Let's move on to question 2. Abe, man with one name. Abe says, "Hi Scott and Sean, I hope this email found you both well." I just had a British accent.
It found me.
It found you both well. "Thanks for the YouTube videos. With all your advice, just watched the healthy to drink plenty of water one, and I'm drinking a big glass of water as I write this." I like that, Abe, drinking that water. "There's so many exercises that I'm overwhelmed by too much info. Don't know where to start. Thought I'd write to you and ask for some personal advice. I'm 32 years of age and have passed the stage of eating whatever I like and not put on any weight. I never thought it'd happen, but now I have a bit of a belly. What exercises, about 20 minutes a day at home, can I do to trim up? When it comes to push-ups, I find them very difficult, so how could I build myself up with perhaps an easier way at first, then increasing the challenge later? I would also like some exercises for my back. I tend to slouch and have a slight kyphosis. What can I do to help this too? Sorry for all the questions. I'm a novice, if that. Looking forward to your reply. Kindest regards, Abe. All right, Abe. Well, for those guys who don't know what kyphosis is, it's a form of scoliosis. Kind of look, if it gets really, really bad, you end up looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which isn't good.
Notre Dame, down. But yeah,
They say it in so many different ways.
It's a little hunchback thing going on. It can come in a few different forms. So I think one thing that is relevant to his having kyphosis, to me personally, is what type of kyphosis he has, if it's something that he was born with or if it's something that he developed growing up. Because what happens is I find that training people that are born with things, it can become a lot more, it's not impossible, but it can become a lot more difficult to train certain alignments and certain imbalances if they're born with them. And then if people kind of develop them as they got older, especially later on in their life, it's easier to reverse that process and get them lined up the right way.
Yeah.
But that definitely is relevant. So if he wanted to jump on the fan page, the Facebook page, or the YouTube comment section and let us know what kind, we might be able to help him a little bit more.
Be able to dissect the problem a bit more.
Yeah.
And he said, he's like, little questions, let's kind of take care of those first. He says he has a hard time with push-ups. I mean, if you want to get good at doing push-ups, you can do them on your knees.
What I would definitely suggest for him to start with and start focusing on primarily is doing a lot of stabilizer exercises and alignment, stabilizer alignments.
Just basic mobility stuff.
Yeah, even something as simple, holding like isometric poses, like even an isometric squat position. You can hold that push-up stabilizer position, work on retraction, work on keeping a neutral spine, hip alignments, and then from there there's a number of things that you can do.
I think what he should start is, remember that beginner's workout we did over at that castle? Remember?
Winnie-Kinney, yeah.
Winnie-Kinney Castle. Mm-hmm. We have a beginner's routine that you can look up on YouTube if you type in beginners. I'll find it real quick, as I'm sure Sean has something else to add, and I'll tell you the exact name of it.
Yeah, I would basically start studying what to do for your alignments in your spine. It's going to be tough. It's a long road depending on how bad your spine is, but I'm sure you could at least improve it somewhat, if not, make it a lot better, drastically improve. There's a number of active stretches that you can do, static stretches that you can do, and again, like I said, stabilizing will be key because that's what's going to hold everything in the right position once you start to get it stronger and once you start to stretch it out. Yeah,
so if you guys want to try this, Abe, we have the Super Beginner Workout, BA10 2010. You can search for that on YouTube or go to scotthermanfitness.com. If you go to scotthermanfitness.com and you sign up as a silver member and you go to the body diagram and click on total body routines, all the beginner routines pop up and these routines are there. And the other one is the Super I'm out of shape and don't want to die beginner's routine. And that's actually an even more basic beginner's routine than the other one. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool when I made that. But yeah, you can definitely check these out, and they include a lot of the stuff that Sean was talking about with the basic mobility and function exercises, the stretching and all that stuff. So, Abe, check it out.
Yeah, it's tough to give you a whole routine right here and say, without you being here, without us having any background information whatsoever. I mean, further than what we already have. But, if I'm going to ever work with anyone, I do full background on them first, full profile. So start to look into some of those things we talked about and then kind of take baby steps from there. And you should be able to see some improvement, like I said.
All right, so that's question 3. Good job, Sean. Pound it.
Good job, Scott.
Later, Bean.
Later, guys.
Later, Bean.
We had an audience today. Question 3 is from Noah Kaniatobe. I have a question for the both of you. First, I think you both are amazing, motivating, and inspirational. I really mean that. No one breaks it down like the way you guys do, and it's helped me tremendously. I'm a 42-year-old male who has been dealing with a lot of health issues, but now I've lost 27 pounds using the YouTube videos to create workout routines for myself, which is great. I like that, Noah. You take an initiative. I started in February of 2011. The Scott Herman website is incredibly informative. That being said, question 1, I wanted to know, when lifting free weights or using weighted machines, when is it necessary to keep your feet at hip distance, shoulder width, and when should you keep your feet together? I see a lot of both and I am a bit confused. This for me is more of a personal preference. There are certain exercises that I like to do with my feet together that Sean likes to do with his feet apart. I think it just comes down to finding your center, like your center of gravity, right? When you say it's the best way to kind of explain it.
Yeah.
Like I like to do, sorry to cut you off.
Thank you.
I like to do lateral raises standing with my feet together, where Sean doesn't like to do them with his feet together. He likes to have them a bit like a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. I mean, not wide, but right about shoulder width, right?
I haven't done lateral raises for quite a while, but yeah, if I was gonna do, it really depends. You know, some exercises I think are personal preference, whereas other exercises it comes down to just different forms.
Yeah, like a deadlift, for example.
Yeah, exactly, like a deadlift or a squat. Then it comes down to different forms. Then it comes down to if you're getting into bodybuilding, how you're going to be able to isolate a muscle a little bit more, or get into or use something else a little bit less, I should say.
I think the best thing for Noah to do on this question is, like, first of all, understand that some exercises might be personal preference. However, if there's a specific exercise that you want to ask about, just go to the Facebook community page and ask there, and you'll get answers from Sean, myself, and the other 104,000 Hermanites. So, probably the best way to answer that question.
What was the number 2 part of that?
Number 2 is the second question from Noah. After a good workout, I'm usually pumped for a while, and I notice my energy is through the roof. I work out early in the morning hours, and then go to my job, and this is something Is this something I can control, or do I just go with the flow? He feels like he's had a whole pot of coffee when he goes to work.
It feels like a spaz.
Like a spaz.
I'm sure a lot of you guys out there feel like a spaz after you work out.
Well, Noah, the reason why we're filming Ask Scott and Sean right now is because Sean wanted to wake up with a workout.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
See, we were doing some lifting with the new weights.
We did some squats and some bench today. We're still on week number 7 of the Russian squat program. So, yeah, I can't wait for that deload week.
Oh, yeah. And Noah, I mean, if you're feeling like you had a whole pot of coffee, that is totally fine. Just make sure you're consuming food while you're at work, okay? Sometimes when I get super high, strong with energy, I don't sit down and eat. So just make sure you're eating. Do you have that problem?
What's that?
Sometimes when I'm like bouncing off the walls, I forget to eat.
Yeah, definitely. The more energetic I am, I usually end up eating a little bit more. But I mean, you actually there's physiological reasons why you have more energy. We don't have to go into all those reasons now, but I mean, you're gonna help start to balance out some serotonin if you're gonna lift. Psychologically,
Serotonin's in your head.
Yes. Psychologically, you're gonna feel a lot better, so you're gonna be in a better mood, so you might feel even more energetic.
All kinds of endorphins and
yeah,
stuff.
you release depending on what type of lifts you do. Yeah, exactly, endorphins, some adrenaline, stuff like that, which might last a little bit longer than your actual workout. You increase your heart rate, which may stay increased for a little bit of time after your workout as well. But yeah, it makes you feel good, so it's a pretty normal process. So just go with the flow, like you said.
Yeah. Sounds like everything's working out just the way it should. Let's see, you had a bottom part. He said, thanks for taking the time to read my email. I've been following your rules to a burn set, and you were absolutely right. I totally feel the blood in a particular muscle.
Oh, yeah.
I'm working on. I love burn sets. Thank you so much for your help. I'm glad to be part of the Hermanation. Oh, that was really a kind message. Thank you, Noah. We're happy to have you.
A burn set is a drop set, or what I call a drip set. And
everyone has their name for burn sets.
You go to failure, and you don't need to go to failure. You can sometimes and get some extra recruitment, but it's something if you're trying to gain strength, it taxes the central nervous system. That's why you can run into issues going to failure all the time. So if you don't have a problem with that, if you're getting a little bit stronger, and you like doing it, that by all means do what you like to do.
I found it actually better. I haven't done the burn sets in a while, and I actually went back and did it I think once last week to see how it would feel. It felt really good. Yeah. But now my burn set's a lot. I start off with heavier weight. I'm a lot stronger because of what we've been doing.
It's a bodybuilding methodology, if you can call it that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. We can call it that. Question 4 is from Hassi. And Hassi says, hello, Scott and Sean. My question today is about meals, more specifically the timing. I have heard that after a workout, you have a 30-minute window to get a balanced meal in order to grow efficiently. I sometimes wait up to an hour before I get any food after a workout. Is that bad? If so, should I be taking a protein shake with me to chug immediately after my workout? Thanks for your valued input on this. This is a great question that people ask about a lot on the community page. And Sean and I spent some time discussing this question before we started this episode to basically find the best, quickest, most simple way to answer this question. Do you want to start? Or let me start. I'll start.
Am I talking loud enough?
I think you're talking loud enough.
Is this real life?
All right. So this is basically, the nutrient timing is something that's been tossed up in the air a lot lately. And basically, to answer Hassi's question, it depends when you had your last meal is going to determine how important having that meal after your workout is. So if you're working out in the morning and the last time you ate was before you went to bed, it means you've gone like almost, hopefully, 8 hours without eating. So if you're going to the gym and you're done working out, your body is more likely to be put into a catabolic state in which you're going to need to have some food or else you're going to risk burning muscle tissue. And the other side of that equation is if you are eating...
You risk protein breakdown.
Yeah, you risk protein breakdown and you're not going to get any protein synthesis going on. You're not going to build any mass. The other side of that equation is if you had a good meal 2 to 3 hours before you went to the gym and then you worked out, it's not going to be as crucial to get that food in because you've already gotten the nutrients into your body. Probably the easiest way to answer that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you eat protein and your body's going to have to synthesize it. I mean, you're going to, if you haven't had protein for a while, your body's going to synthesize it even better. But if you have carbohydrates, you don't break down protein. You don't have protein breakdown. A lot of what's happened over the years essentially is a lot of the bodybuilding magazines and even the websites and stuff like that have focused on insulin, and they've really pushed carbs after a workout because you're gonna increase protein synthesis and
which is true.
All this other stuff. I mean,
to a degree.
To a degree, yep. I mean, people focus on it so much that it kind of, they lose sight of everything else sometimes, especially the kids who want to bodybuild, the dudes who want to bodybuild. Overall nutrition is really going to be what determines how well you get results overall, as opposed to, just focusing on that. Unless you're doing intermittent fasting, which I did that for a while, and I kind of liked it. I'm not doing it now. I'm trying to gain, and you can gain while on intermittent fasting, but it's going to take, you're going to have to eat a lot at once, and I don't know, it's kind of a pain in the ass to eat like 2,000. Yeah, 3,000 calories in one meal, whatever. Even 3 to 4 in 2 meals.
That's not my style.
Can be bloated for a while. But anyways, besides that, if you were doing like an intermittent fasting, I would recommend maybe going until after your workout and then trying to take in a lot of calories. Then, what you can do if I referred Scott to Body Recomposition, Lyle McDonald, and basically if you have gone a while without eating, I tell people not to eat before. The reason I tell people not to eat before their workout is because if you're doing like a power type of workout and you want to maximize your central nervous system output, I believe putting extra work into your body that will cause your peripheral nervous system to be doing more stuff, like I said, that you may not get complete focus of your central nervous system.
Yeah, because your body's trying to do too many things at once. Basically, break down the food and work out. So
if you were going to have something before a workout and you haven't had anything for a while, I would recommend it being liquid, like
Gatorade?
Doing a Gatorade with like a low-calorie protein shake, like an Amino X or...
lean dessert's a little more low-calorie.
Used to have Isopure and stuff like that. I don't know if I think that's low in calories, but...
The lean dessert is low in calories. It's like basically half of the Synthesis 6. That'd be a good one to take.
But I mean...
overall, basically,
people put a little bit too much focus on post-workout nutrition a lot, to the point where, like he said, he takes his shake to the gym with him and pounds it right after. He talked about that 20-minute window. I've read anywhere from
2 hours.
I've read anything from a 4-minute window, to like a 3-hour window. And put it this way: if you're going to eat most of your calories after your workout, that's not a bad thing. I would say generally, if you wanted to eat a lot of your calories after you work out, within the 2 to 3 hours after your workout, then go ahead. It's not going to hurt you, unless you're going over your calorie goal and you're getting fat, or you're waiting way too long to eat and then you're not eating enough, which
could be the problem. That's the problem sometimes I have is. You need to get all your food in a day. First of all, if you need help figuring out
24-hour cycle to get in all your calories.
If you're not eating 100% correctly, this whole process is fudged anyways. It's not going to work. So if you're not doing well with your meal plan, you need to go to the ScottHermanFitness.com website and check out the meal plan system, watch the demos, and see how you can get all of your macro and micronutrients in one day, and how many calories you should be eating. For me, I love to eat after I work out. I mean, you're obviously going to maximize the amount of muscle you're going to be able to gain if you're eating a balanced meal after you work out. But, like we just talked about in the beginning, whether it's super important to have it directly after you work out or if you wait a little while, that's all going to depend on when your last meal was. And I think that's the biggest point they should take away from this post-nutrition timing.
Yeah. Ideally, if I could do this every time I worked out, if I could work out really intense, eat like 1,500 to 2,000 calories worth of food, and go to sleep for like 3 hours afterwards, or the whole night, that's ideal for me.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Hassi, I hope that answers your questions and many of the other questions that other Hermanites have had. That's actually a pretty good question to clear that topic up.
Yeah. I mean, people will always be talking about this for a while, especially with other people perpetuating the bro science and the stuff that's not completely backed up with substantial evidence and stuff like that. I mean, there's some evidence that shows,
and you can even look into it farther than obviously what we're talking about now. We're just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
So, well, hope you guys enjoyed Ask Scott and Sean episode 16. How do you feel? Feel good?
I feel great.
You feel great?
I feel like a whole new me right now.
Do you feel like an SHF athlete?
I feel like shake and bake.
On that note.
Woo! Woo! Thanks for watching, guys. More good stuff coming soon. See ya.
Oh man, he did that to me once before we were starting to film, and I had a red mark on my chest for like an hour. We couldn't film, and it was already like 12 o'clock at night, and I was not happy about that. We'll see you guys later.